It has been more than a month since the midterms, but there's still one race that looks far from over. In North Carolina's 9th congressional district, Republican Mark Harris led Democrat Dan McCready by just over 900 votes. But the results of the race have yet to be certified. That's because mail-in absentee ballots in 2 counties have been called into question after allegations that a paid Republican operative collected unused and unsigned ballots from voters. As a result, McCready has renounced his concession and is calling on Harris to explain what he knew and when. And joining me now from Bladen County is Nick Oxner. He is the chief investigative reporter for our Charlotte affiliate WBTV. Nick, I know you've been doing a lot of digging on this. Thanks so much for joining us. Much of the coverage has been focused on that paid Republican operative, McCrae Dowless, but you have uncovered evidence of more absentee ballot operations. What have you found?
That's right. Yeah, we found at least what appear to be two other coordinated ballot operations. One, we know because we obtained notes written by a local businessman and city councilman named Jeff Smith outlining a scheme by which people are paid for collecting unsealed absentee ballots. And that third operation we know was run by an organization here in Bladen County called the Bladen Improvement Association PAC. We know that they also paid people for what's described on the report as get out the vote efforts, and we know that those people were in turn witnessing and in some cases collecting absentee ballots from voters here in Bladen County as well.
So help us understand, for viewers who have not been following this particular race, what is the problem with collecting absentee ballots from voters directly?
Yeah, so in North Carolina, what's supposed to happen, a voter is supposed to, one, request an absentee ballot. They get it, they fill that ballot out, they sign it, certifying that they've voted, and then it either must be witnessed by one notary who notarizes that ballot and says, yes, I saw the person vote, or it must have signatures from 2 witnesses not notarized. And those witnesses, again, are attesting to, yes, I saw this person cast the ballot, it is who they say they are. And then that person is supposed to mail that ballot in, or they can have an immediate close family member take that ballot to the State Board of Elections or to a polling place. So in North Carolina, no one else outside of the voter or an immediate family member is supposed to take custody of that ballot. So far we have questions surrounding, 1, people who witness those signatures on the ballots, and 2, people like McCrae Dowless, like the Bladen Improvement Association, taking custody of those ballots and submitting them.
Well, you've also reported, Nick, that a criminal investigation into voting irregularities in Bladen County began all the way back in January. So why are we just finding out about it now?
Well, that's really the question that a lot of people are asking. And so there were the similar allegations, the same kind of conduct that were raised in the 2016 election where we had a pretty tight race for governor. The state board referred that matter to state and federal prosecutors. And then we know a second investigation, the one that's currently ongoing, was opened in January of this year. The Wake County District Attorney, who's handling that in place of the district attorney who normally handle matters here in Bladen County, says they've been steadily working with the help of the State Bureau of Investigation, but there's not really been a whole lot of explanation as to why more overt steps hadn't been taken sooner like we see now.
So Mark Harris, the Republican leading currently in this race, has said he is open to a new election but needs to see proof that illegal activity changed the results. Now that's his view, but what would the state need to see before calling for a new election?
So the line that the State Board of Elections, the State Board Chairman, and the staff keeps pointing to is a part of the state law that says you can order a new election if there's sufficient taint. It's basically if enough doubt is created about the validity of the election results.
Isn't that in the eye of the beholder? Taint?
Well, in this case, it's in the eye of the 9 members of the North Carolina State Board of Elections, quite frankly. And so I think that's what you see investigators on the ground doing, trying to gather evidence to show is there or isn't there enough.
So based on what we know now, Nick, how likely is it that we will see a new election?
Yeah, most political prognosticators here in North Carolina, most experts are saying they would expect a new election. That new election probably could come as early as March, but certainly probably more likely in May. We'll know more after an evidentiary hearing is held either later this week or sometime next week.
And does a special election, Nick, tend to help one party over the other?
This is a special case, right?
Yeah.
Because here you have a candidate who's definitely tied to one guy who's been labeled a bad actor, for better or for worse, and we have a lot more facts to come. So I'm not sure that this is going to be any usual special election.
Yeah, right.
Hard to kind of make
Can't
a prediction
compare it,
in this
yeah.
case.
Understood. Intriguing
That's
times
right.
there in North Carolina. Nick Oxner, thank you so much for helping to break all of that down for us.
Thanks for having me.